Hey guys, I hope you guys can hear me. Okay, sorry, I gotta work on my mic technique. If my throat sounds a little scratchy, it's because I've been having all sorts of issues with the cold. I have so much honey inside of this inside of this tea that I'm making. Okay, so let me try and get through this without any coughing or sniffling and that kind of stuff. So I wanted to talk to you guys about Apple. I've spoken to you guys about Apple before. You guys know, okay? Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, definitely not a professional. I just have to say it because it's one of those YouTube thingy majingies, I guess liability sort of stuff. And also, I'm invested into Apple. I've been invested into Apple for I think about 2 years, one and a half years, something like that. One of my big regrets is that I didn't invest into Apple earlier. So let's talk about Apple today. I had a conversation with someone quite recently, and we were talking about stocks, and they asked me. They said, "Erica, what would you invest in for aggressive growth?" And I said, "Well, I know a few stocks that are pretty aggressive in the growth, but one of the stocks that I truly believe in, at least for now, would be Apple." And they said, "Well, why is that?" And I said, "Well, Apple is always evolving. Apple is very good at silencing their critics, and even if they don't address things right away, they do think about the long term game. And this is something that I think Apple is very, very good at, staying ahead of the curve. And even if they do seem a little slow, the long game is something that they really thrive about doing." So, let's talk about Apple stock. Today went up 2.28%. I'm going to get into the reason why about that. Let's talk about the 1 month over here. So you can see, let's talk about the 6 month over here. So you can see, right, it was going up and then it was going down and then it was going, kind of like 150-ish area, seemed to be around this part. And then, it was going up, and then November 17th came around, and then it just went up and up and up and up. So what happened around November, let's say 16th or 17th, that made it go up? Well, Apple talked about their right to repair program. Now, some people will say, no, that's not why the Apple stock went up. Here's the thing, okay? One of the big criticisms about Apple was that they did not make things accessible to consumers, right? How come you're not selling parts to consumers? How come you're not sharing information with consumers? This is something that's been a thorn on their side for many years. They got a lot of crap about it. I remember hearing, and I might be remembering it wrong, but Microsoft caved into demands, and shareholders were like, yeah, they're supporting right to repair. So Apple decided on November 17th, they are going to enable customers to perform their own repairs using genuine Apple parts and tools, right? And it's going to be available early next year and then expand. This is moving forward. This is not going to be for things like the 2010 MacBook Pro. For anybody who's like, "Oh, well, how come they're not releasing everything for all the old computers?" Look, this is a business. This is not a charity. And the other thing is that if you can't, and I hate to sound so condescending, but if you're using a computer that is 10 years old and you're getting pissed off because Apple doesn't have parts for a 10-year-old computer, then you probably should save up money and buy another Apple computer. I'm just being very honest here. Like in case you're wondering, like, how come I can't buy a graphics card for an old computer? It's like Apple is not going to be raking in cash by stocking 2010 MacBook Pro graphic cards. This is just an example over here, because I remember reading a few people getting all pissed off about how come they can't get parts for their old computers. And I'm like, oh, look, this is an old computer. Like, I get it. You want Apple to make all the parts for the last, I don't know, since the 1980s. They're not going to keep it in stock, okay? So I felt like this was a really good move on Apple's part. My thoughts is this: they're going to not keep the prices to be affordable. The prices are going to be at the Apple premium. So don't think they're going to say, hey, you can buy a MacBook battery for $20, and instead of paying a store, let's say $100 or $200 to put in the battery and give you a battery, it's going to be like substantially cheaper. Okay, if you want to go for a cheap computer, go for a cheaper computer out there. Buy like $100 Chromebook or something like that. Like, you don't buy Apple and think like you're saving money buying Apple. Apple was kind of like the luxury, in my opinion. I always think of it like a luxury computer. It's kind of like, women in their LV handbags, luggage is Remova, for instance, and then computer would be Apple. It just kind of like fits in. So don't like kind of give a lot of crap to Apple for that. If anybody is buying an Apple computer, they already know what the price premium for those Apple computers is. Apple does not, in my opinion, Apple's main selling point is not that they're the fastest computer out there. It's not like they're the thinnest computer out there. It's just that people really like using Apple products for whatever reason. You guys know, right? I'm a big fan of the MacBook, even though my you can hear my MacBook fan. Keep in mind, I'm using a 2015 MacBook Air. If I wanted, I could upgrade to the M1, and guess what? The M1 doesn't have any fan at all. So I'm not going to give crap to Apple about my computer when it's 6 years old, and I could definitely upgrade to a stronger MacBook if I wanted to, right? So that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, you can't just put all this blame on Apple. Like, how come Apple's not doing this? How come Apple's not doing that? Okay, so this is something that I saw in the headlines today. Apple's ugly China deal mostly bought time. Now, this goes back to 2016, okay? So 2016, Tim Cook, he promised Beijing $275 billion of investment over 5 years in exchange for releasing pressure on its business. So you can see, right? This is not just Apple, though. This is also Microsoft as well. And then this is after, Chinese officials started targeting the iPhone because of lapses. And then they started investing into things in, I think it was like, what was it? They started investing into projects that China was trying to push through over here. And you can see that they said they generated $249 billion in sales in China, but they invested $275 billion. I think that this $275 billion, I don't see it as like Apple lost money. I see it as they were able to produce things that they wanted to produce because they didn't have the scrutiny from Chinese officials. You can think of it as a bribe if you want to, but I just see it as a way to ensure that Apple would be able to expand and get their products produced without much interference. You don't want to get on China's bad side, okay? And see all this stuff. So this is the part that kind of made my antenna go up. It says the decisions to hide the deal from shareholders will now make it even harder for Cook to justify now. So I think, some people will wonder and say like, okay, will shareholders get pissed off about what Apple did? That they invested $275 billion in China back in 2016. My personal thought, hell no, why would we get mad? Like, you have to think about it this way, right? Apple's products are mostly produced, and might be somewhere else in the world, but mostly produced in China. So if they want to make sure that things are getting exported out, that there's no interference in terms of like the factories, it would make sense for them to pay the Chinese government to encourage them to look the other way. You can say that this is illegal. Look, we're dealing with another country here, okay? China has a lot of power, right? China is not adverse to even hurting their own company if the company steps out of line. For instance, Alibaba. And I know that will trigger some people because some people are against Alibaba, but I just want to bring this up to you guys because I know that people will attack Apple and say, how could they do that? If I was Tim Cook, I would never do that. I would be so clean. Look, if you think you can do it better than Tim Cook and you think you can do it better than Apple, then please make your own technology company. Please make your own laptops, and then you can put your money where your mouth is. But I think sometimes it's like people just preach about ethics or they preach about how they would make Apple a much better company, but they don't keep in mind the financials. You see, like they don't think about the logistics kind of thing. And I feel very strongly about this kind of stuff because it's like when I hear about people criticizing Apple about, let's say, undisclosed agreements, and this happened back in 2016, I think. Look, Apple does not want to part with $275 billion, but they realize, I'm sure they have analysts, and the analysts decided, and as well as executives, that it's probably in their best interest to hand over $275 billion and invest it into China. So, yeah, it's like, it's not you have to think about the climate. You have to think about where these products are being made, and it is in Apple's best interest to make sure that things move smoothly. So, right, this came out, when did this come out? This came out earlier today, 16 hours ago, and what did the shareholders say? Oh, it's still, look at this, it's still going up, 2.28% today. Kind of went a little, did it go a little down today? Not really. Apple shareholders don't really care. We're like 2016, old news. Apple's so much better. Look, if they didn't make the $275 billion investment back in 2016, well, the stock price might have not been as high as it was today. Because I think you have to don't think about it in just 1 year. You have to think about it over the course of like 5 years or so, right? And it's been up, 514%. So if I invested into Apple back around 2017 or so, yeah, I would not be it would be really stupid of me to be like, oh, I wish they never made that investment with China. Oh, I would love to get I'd rather have like a 2% growth or 5% growth or 20% growth or whatever. Let's say 100% growth instead of 514% growth, because ethics. No. So people follow the money, right? And this is why Apple is, again, very good at what they're doing, because I'm sure they foresaw, hey, it could get really ugly if we get on China's bad side. So back in 2016, they had the foresight to invest that money with Beijing. Okay, so let's talk about this article today. It came on Motley Fools. This is what's going on. I shared with you guys in a previous post, I think it was my why I'm not worried about the stock market going down. I did the stream last week and I lost thousands of dollars, but I maintained. I said, you know what, tech will go back up. I'm not scared about it. Sure enough, my stock account went up thousands of dollars, so I'm not worried about it. So all this stuff, right? Why is Apple so good? Well, Apple doesn't really sit still. Apple always tries to get into different product lines, always try to push the boundaries. They don't get comfortable. They're not like a company where they just say, we're going to put our heads down and just make laptops and that's it. They try to get into accessories. They try to get into, like the time machine, the Apple Watch, the headphones, the AirPods, the iPads, Apple TV. What else did they get into? The desktop desktop computers, laptop computers, smartphones, all that stuff. All that good stuff. AirTags, as well. And now they are working on augmented reality. So I've been hearing about this like Apple glasses kind of thing going on. So augmented reality headset, and then they're gonna have the same computing power as the M1 for Mac. Pretty cool. I don't know. Does that sound like Oculus? Maybe it does. But I think that this sounds so much cooler, because if Apple does it, it's going to be sleek, it's going to be sexy, it's probably going to be lightweight. And all the Apple fans will be like, oh my goodness, this looks so great. Let's buy it and let's pair it with our Apple products. It's just, Apple's very good at making an ecosystem, okay? Very, very, very good. And I think that this is one of the ways consumers get stuck into the Apple sphere. Again, let's see, what do I mostly use? I have a MacBook, I have an iPod Touch, I have an iPhone. I don't use an iPhone as my phone that I use on a daily. But what else do I have? I think that's all I have. Do I have any other Apple products that I can think of? Oh, I had the iMac, and then I had the Bluetooth keyboard, and then also the Magic Mouse as well. And I had zero problems with that computer. It's just that the graphics card died for that iMac. But yeah, so my daily computer that I always use, and my daily Apple products that I always use, is always going to be my MacBook Air. If this computer kicks the bucket, 100%, what's my next computer going to be? It's going to be a MacBook Air. Like, no doubt about it. I don't care if a computer is $1,400, because I use this computer every day. And I have to think about it this way. do I, because I use a computer for at least 5 hours a day, if I use that computer, let's say 5 hours a day for 365 days a year, how much does that come out to? That comes out to what? Less than $1 an hour? I think that's really great. If I go out and I try to go to a movie, that's more than $1 an hour. So that's the way I look at my products. And I look at it as like $1 cost per use. And my Apple products are really, I like it. It's light, it's slim, it's sexy. It's just like I'm so used to dealing with the aluminum top case with the black keys. It's my jam. I've used an Apple product since 2012, 2000, I think 2011, 2012. I can't remember now. And I have, minus the hardware issues. Like I've never had an issue with an Apple product at all. I really like Apple. So those rumors have been going up because of the AR headset too. So I think my personal thinking is this way. Apple's turning the tide because they're going to say, hey, we understand where we fell short. We are trying to tackle new things. So that's why they embrace the whole right to repair thing. Plus they invest, it's been this whole rumor about this AR device, and this is going to be released, I've heard, in 2022, right? Q4 2022. So we're looking a year out. In between now and quarter 2022, I am sure they're going to release other products. It's not like Apple's saying, screw the MacBook, screw the iPhones, we're just going to work on this AR headset. And Apple, besides this AR headset, there are talks that they're going to be releasing their Apple Car. They're going to go into the EV sector in about 2024, 2025. That's their goal. So Apple is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more consumers they get, it's going to be hard for them to break out of that Apple sphere when they realize, hey, you know what? I really like using my iPhone. I really like using this Apple Watch. I really like using this MacBook. And all that thing, right? I just think it's a really good move on Apple's part. It's like before you can even think about, oh yeah, well, I'm getting kind of bored with Apple. They just they release products that make people excited about the future product. You see, like when you have a MacBook and you hear about Apple releasing an AR headset next year, you're going to think, oh, wow, Apple's really great. Wow, everybody's talking about Apple. This is the brand that I want to have. Because it's not like Samsung, okay? Samsung releases something, nobody cares. Lenovo releases about it, nobody cares. The only people who care are the people who really do focus on Lenovo and Samsung. But the marketing department of Lenovo, Samsung, even Google, like I've seen the Google Pixel ads around, but it's not nearly as much as the iPhone ads. The iPhone ads will show pictures like this was shot using an iPhone. And that's more powerful to me than just some random woman with a Google model holding a Google Pixel, because if you can see what is created using an iPhone, that makes you think, I want to buy that iPhone because I also want to create something on a similar lineup. You see what I'm saying? So let me show you guys this one. Let's see. See, so they have this whole thing where they say shot on an iPhone, shot on this, shot on that. See, shot on a iPhone 6S. And I've seen a bunch of these ads around. A lot of people, right? They want to take good pictures, and they're not professional photographers. I am not a professional photographer. But if I look at this ad and I see someone post such an artsy picture, I say, I want that too. I want to look like I slave away hours doing photo retouching or editing or color balance and that kind of thing, because people want something that's simple that works. Apple's really good at that stuff. For instance, I cannot, for the life of me, get through DaVinci Resolve or Sony Vegas. I don't know what it is. Like, I try, it's not intuitive to me. But something like iMovie, and I'm sure I would have an easy time with Final Cut Pro, I can do video editing very easily doing that kind of stuff. And it empowers me because I think to myself, hey, you know what? I can't understand this techie software. I can't understand Sony Vegas. I can't. Resolve is not something that works with me. But when they dumb it down to a point where a novice, even a person who struggles with video editing, can do video editing, that's really something. That encourages people to be creative, and that makes people feel safe with an Apple product. So a lot of the Apple apps and the way the Apple like OSs, I want to say OSX, the way the Apple operating system is, it kind of cradles you. It kind of is like a hand holding things, but it's not in a demeaning fashion. It's not, oh, you're so stupid. You don't know how to run Linux. Like, how stupid are you? You're not a tech person. Like, how come if you knew how to use a computer, you would only know how to use Linux, or you would know how to fix your computer. Like, I don't like that kind of snobbery that I feel like some of the tech people give off. Like, if you can't build your own computer, then you're an idiot. And that's why when it comes to Apple products, like, people say, hey, you know what? You're right. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. I suck at using computers. I suck at doing video editing. But when they release apps that make people feel like, yeah, it's okay. Like, it's okay. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. But Apple made an app that I can do it. So I don't have to rack my brain out for hours and hours and hours trying to figure something out. It's really great. So just, and I say this like as a person who uses Apple products. If I did not use iMovie, I don't think I would be able to do video editing. And that's, I believe, a lot of consumers of Apple products, they feel the same way. Like, people can talk all this crap and give so much shit about Apple users, but there's more people who don't know how to do stuff than there are who do know how to do stuff. Not everybody can be a pro level photographer, but if you have, let's say, filters in place, or you make it easy for people to do this kind of stuff, then they just think like, wow, I took a really beautiful picture and I used my iPhone, let's say my iPhone 6, right? And wow, this looks like I really know what I'm doing. They're going to continue buying another Apple product, like, hands down. Or, right, if they see their friend who didn't really take good pictures before, and now their pictures turn out beautiful, when they upgrade their phone, they're going to say, I don't want to be jealous of my friend anymore, because I know my friend can't do, diddly squat. So I'm going to buy the iPhone too, because if so-and-so can take pretty pictures using the iPhone, and I want to take pretty pictures, the only difference between me and so-and-so is that iPhone. It's great. It's really great when you think about it, things that way. Like, I remember before, I used to think to myself, like, man, how come my pictures suck? And then I realized a lot of the times it's just the camera. The camera just doesn't have that vibrancy. Sometimes I look at other people when they shoot footage, and I think to myself, man, they must have such pro-level thing. Their footage is so much crisper than mine. Their lighting is so much better than mine. And then I find out they use a freaking iPhone. I'm like, really? Like, you don't have like a professional camera setup or anything? And they're like, nah, I'm lazy. I just want to use an iPhone. I just clean the screen. That's it. And yeah, it's great. It's like they don't have to carry a video camera around with them. They just carry an iPhone, and then they're able to produce the quality of the visual content that they want. I'm not saying that if you produce a video using an iPhone, it's going to look stellar, but I'm going to bank that it's going to look better than a lot of cameras out there. And I think it could just be a combination of facts, so also portability as well. So all that stuff is just why I think Apple is just going to keep going up, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to stop people from buying Apple products. So anybody who's hating Apple products, like, you better be praying Samsung makes something better. So-and-so makes their marketing department so much better. Like, let's go ask Asus. Asus, can you take over Apple? Can you make something that looks as nice and sleek and nice? Or Acer or Dell? Like, no, they're not. They're not going to spend all this money on ads. And even if they do, it's just going to look, people are going to be like, wow, that company is still alive? Like, oh man, I see they're trying to get rid of Apple share. They're trying to take a dent in the Apple market share, but it's not going to be successful. It's going to look like they're being a copycat, you see, because Apple, again, they are taking charge of the lead. They're always innovating, and people like that. for sure. So let's talk about other criticism as well. So I know Apple has had a few issues of their own. They did do things like battery recalls. I know that there's some products that they've kind of faltered in, but they've always said, hey, it's a small percentage. It's not very much at all. We like, don't worry about it, that kind of stuff. It's just kind of like water under the bridge. I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I was looking up what Apple was saying about the battery explosions, if you guys remember that. And look at this. So someone was like freaking out because their Apple battery burst. And do you know what Apple said? Apple said, that for a person who's a software engineer, when the person brought it to Apple, Apple said it's expected behavior because people are supposed to replace their 129 laptop battery every year. Oh my gosh. So that's what the way they cover their butt. So if you have a MacBook battery and you buy it and it blows up in a year and a half, Apple will say, oh yeah, we suggest you replace the battery every year. I have not replaced my MacBook battery every year. I'm going to be upfront. I think I replace it until the damn thing dies, which is like every 3 to 4 years. So let's put that into perspective. If my Apple battery blew up, and I made a big scene about it, and I said, I can't believe my Apple battery blew up, my MacBook Air battery. What's that going to do? Apple's going to come at me and be like, oh yeah, we're so sorry to hear about it. Did you know we actually suggest that you replace the battery every year? And even if the battery explodes when it's not in use, they'll say, you didn't replace it. You should have replaced it like a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's expected behavior. It sounds kind of cold, but it's a really good way of covering their butt. And it's hard to fault Apple in that, right? Again, they get criticism, they address it. If you don't want your battery to explode, replace it every year. See that? I was shocked too, and I'm using a MacBook. Right now. So they've been saying this since like around 2011. Batteries blowing up in MacBooks is normal. So they said that their batteries will expand and destroy your computer, and especially if they outlive their optimistic 1-year lifespan. This is one of the reasons why when people have exploding MacBooks, and I'm sure there's more than a few of them, right? It's kind of like water down the bridge, because they'll post it online and they'll say, I have a MacBook and I've had it for 2 years and my house burned down because of my battery. And then people will say, oh, well, didn't you know you're supposed to replace it every year? Like, fault is on that person, not on Apple. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, okay? But I'm just saying that this really cuts down the amount of issues when they say, yeah, you're supposed to replace it every year. I've never, ever, ever, ever done that. Ever. Never. Yeah, so we will see what happens to the Apple products moving forward, but I'm not worried about this kind of stuff. I do believe that if tech does go down, I've always said this, right? If tech goes down, Apple will go up over time. All they need to do is release their augmented reality headset. All they got to do is release a new product. People buy it. People get hyped about it, and then stock price goes up. Stock price has gone up in the last year 43%. 6 months it's gone up 37%. So you can see it kind of stagnated around here, and then it just shot up. I also do believe holiday season, it will go quite well, because if, let's say, someone has a MacBook, holiday season, someone will be like, oh man, so-and-so really loves using her MacBook. You know what? I want to get her an iPhone, or I want to get her some AirPods that she can use with her MacBook, or I want to get her, an Apple Watch, or that kind. You know what I'm talking about? Like all that ecosystem stuff. It's just beautifully brilliant. So the easiest thing to buy a person who's using Apple products is a complimentary Apple accessory. Talking about Apple accessories, okay? Do you know what the best-selling out-of-stock product has been? In terms of, let me see, Apple out of stock. I was so surprised. The out-of-stock item right now is, it's a $20 item. I looked it up. Where is it? Stock. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. It's an Apple microfiber cloth. This freaking stock. Okay, heroes. It was the most back-ordered new product. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. But when I read about, so it's a, see, it's a microfiber. It basically looks like a piece of, like, it looks like a chamois, but it has a little Apple logo on there. So yeah, if you wanna, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is why I believe Apple is like an LV item, because you don't want to just use like an auto shop like Walmart microfiber cloth. Like, why don't you use the matching premium accessory $20 or $19 polishing cloth over here, and then clean your Apple product with that? You deserve the best. If you're buying a $1,000 computer, $1,500 computer, why are you going to allow a little crappy looking cloth to devalue the aesthetics of your MacBook or your iPhone, right? Use the Apple branded cloth. I have to say, it does look very sleek. You know, it looks so much better than the blue microfiber. You know, here, let's talk about it, right? So you guys know how microfiber looks like. See? Would you rather use this dowdy looking thing? See these? These dowdy looking cloths? Or would you rather use this one? I mean, it's pretty obvious. You would rather use this one than the dowdy looking microfiber. I use microfiber, by the way, so I'm not crapping on microfiber. I like, definitely rewash, reusable, that kind of stuff. But I understand, if you carry, let's say a beautiful, well taken care of MacBook, and you take a lot of pride into it, it's not unusual to think that people will spend the $20 on the polishing cloth, because it looks like a premium product. It makes you look bougie, okay? It makes you look bougie. You don't look like the guy who's like cleaning his car with the same freaking cloth, touching your beautiful MacBook product or your beautiful Apple product at all. It's just like, it's a exclusive item, shall I say. Exclusive. So all that thing, and I just like saw this, and I was like, man, they really are turning into like the LV of computer products, and there's nothing wrong with it. Now, what I want to see is, because Apple did a collaboration with Hermes. Here, let me show you this. So their AirTag, right? Their AirTag is like this $20, $30. Okay, look, Apple Watch Hermes. So Hermes, as you guys know, makes the $5,000 handbags. Look at this. You can buy the watch strap. Apple Watch Hermes Series 7, 1,200. That's pretty freaking cheap in my opinion. And then, let's see over here. See the watch strap? You can buy that too. So if you want to have like a bougie product, right? Why not have an Apple Watch Hermes? Like, oh gosh. See this? Hermes watches are more expensive than this too. When I think of luxury watches, I usually think they start at about $3,000 up. See that? So you got the branding over there, you got the leather over there, and this is, you guys can criticize me, this is actually pretty damn cheap. I'm surprised how cheap it is, knowing what I know about watches. See? So let's look at a regular Hermes watch. I think Hermes makes a watch, don't they? Maybe they don't. They do, yeah. A lot of brands do make watches. Or some get into jewelry. Because I know Hermes has accessories, you know, besides the bags, they also have shoes, they have perfume, they have scarves, they have like blankets, they have everything. Okay, let's pull this up. Okay, so I wasn't wrong. See, so the watches are, depending on the watch, they're like $3,000. So for half the price, you can buy the Apple Watch, and it does more than a regular watch as well. See, which one would I get if I was to get one? No, I don't like that. Maybe this one. But then again, you know, I don't wear a watch, so I'm just talking to you guys about this stuff. So they have the Apple Watch. Not only that, they also have the AirTags. Does Apple own Hermes? Let's see. Do they own? Oh, they partner. Yeah, never mind. That's what I thought. See, Hermes is a global luxury brand, so on its face, the partnership makes sense. I really want to see it. I really want to see them partner with LV, for sure. Because I think if they partnered with LV, it would be incredible. I think that if they partnered with like Remova, because Remova's been doing a lot of collaborations. Let's see. And I know I'm going off track here, but what I'm trying to get at is that it's not unusual for brands to collaborate with each other just to spread out the branding, right? So Fendi collaborated with Remova. Remova is this aluminum luggage case brand. So they collaborated with them. They came out with the Fendi Remova one. I think Dior also collaborated with them. So I hope Apple collaborates with Remova. Maybe they have one where they include an AirTag in there. It'll help the brand. See? Christian Dior, that stuff. See, all it is it's basically branded logo stuff inside of it, and maybe they change a little shape here and there, but it's like, it's, you know, they have the iconic kind of aluminum lines on it, for lack of better description on it. So when you have a product that's positioning itself as a luxury product and they're collaborating with big brands like Hermes, you really, it's going to be really hard for this company to go away, for sure. And I think that people, they don't want, you know, they don't want the dowdy looking Lenovo. They don't want the freaking ugly ThinkPad. I'm going to be very blunt about this, okay? It's like, you don't get aesthetics looking at a chunky Dell computer. And as much people would like to say, well, you know, those computers are big, you know, they're 20-inch big, or, you know, they're 7 pounds or something, and think about all the power inside of it. We are in different times, you know, we're in more aesthetic times, and aesthetics really matter. So if you have a good, what is perceived to be delivering the value for a lot of people who just maybe use a computer just to browse on the internet, check email, watch some YouTube videos, maybe make a video here and there. I mean, most people don't even make videos, right? Most people don't even go on YouTube. People will look at this and say, yeah, I might as well just buy an Apple product. I might as well buy the best of the best, because if I'm going to tie myself down to a computer for a couple years, I don't want that 7-pound computer. I don't want that plastic piece of crap. I want a nice aluminum computer. And yeah, it's just like, this is the kind of stuff that people will buy. And I truly, truly believe Apple is just so far ahead in their competition with branding and collaborations. I don't understand how any of the big companies can even clap back at this. Like, I'm not saying Microsoft rule the world with their Surface. I'm not seeing Google or Samsung or Asus or Dell or Lenovo or is Sony still around? Like, that kind of stuff. I'm not seeing it. So it's like you got the regular computer people, and then you got Apple, and that's why Apple is just like so huge. You know, it's like, I don't want to say it's like the top, but I feel like it really is kind of like the top, because branding, collaborations, fanfare, all that stuff, it adds up. So all that thing, you know, it's like, if I don't see any competition around, then I think it's a safe investment for a long. And I'm not seeing how the company would just implode. If it does, then people have to stop buying computers. And if it comes down to thinner, more advanced stuff, people are going to be following Apple's lead. I think that there's a lot of things that Apple did that their competitors looked at it and said, hey, that's a good idea. We should do that kind of stuff as well. Remember, for instance, right, Samsung made fun, I think it was Samsung, right? Samsung made fun of Apple and they said, hey, why are you removing all this stuff? And then a couple years, I think, down the line, they also removed that same stuff as well. So it's like I want to say, like, imitation is the biggest form of flattery, but I'm not saying Samsung overtake Apple because of that. See? No, I don't think Apple's gonna really be in trouble. I think Apple will find a way to maneuver and even right to repair. Right? Let's talk about that. Right? Like, how is Apple gonna be in? How are they gonna be in trouble? Because they're gonna say we're gonna release things so people can fix their own computers, fix their own smartphones. I'm not seeing how they're gonna get in trouble with that. And I when I was looking at this imaging, you guys, look at this. You got a woman in the kitchen, you know, and she has this little ESD wristband over here. And you can tell, right? She got the gloves on and everything like that. This woman, right? She looks like she's pretty stylish. You know, she got the hoop earrings on there. She got the, you know, she got the scarf on there. It's the way it's positioned is just like, this is a hip thing to do. See this woman? This woman over here, look, she got some magazines behind her. She got a nice lamp behind her, all the colors. She's in her I want to say her slide flats of sorts. It's like, it looks like, you can tell by the expression of these women, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm just fixing my stuff, no big deal. And you guys know, a lot of women, they don't get into the repair industry, right? Why? Because it's so hard to understand. I kind of wonder if they're going to make things easier, because if they have if they are putting women over here, I don't want to diss women, okay? But I'm saying that they have to make it very simple to understand, so the image that they're trying to send off, like a woman who's not involved with the tech fields can do these kind of repairs. It's like, I really hope the repairs are simple. And I'm not just hoping it's simple because I want women to do it, but I hope it's simple because I want people, young, old, to be able to repair their stuff. I don't want it to be like, oh, it's too scary for me to replace a battery kind of thing. Here's another thing. Look, you got, I don't want to sound sexist over here, but you got a man behind the counter, and then you got a woman passing the man her Apple product. It's like, can you get the vibe here? It's like, women own Apple products. Women are fixing the Apple products. Women are buying the Apple products. Stylish women have Apple products. And that is just fortified with these brand collaborations like with Hermes. I don't think most guys really give a crap about having a Hermes watch, but for a woman to have this kind of brand name associated with Apple is just kind of like very bougie. No, but I'm saying most women don't. Like, you know, Jessa is one of the few, but I don't think a lot of women get into the repair industry for whatever reason. It's like, why are most people who do engineering, why do they tend to be guys? Why do most people who do math majors that I know tend to be males? You know, it's just, I don't know. But this kind of stuff, I imagine that if anybody gives criticisms to their repair program right now, in between now and when it gets released, it's going to be very hard to criticize, because it sounds like they want to really make it simple for women to be able to do their own repairs. And they're not saying that outright, but that's the way that I feel based on the images that I'm seeing. So, yeah. So, tell me, how is Apple going to be in trouble? What exactly will cause Apple to be in trouble? Because if they're releasing stuff, you know, their competitors are going to have to do the same thing as well. And people are not buying Apple products just because of repairability. Like, let's not let's not delude ourselves over here. People are buying Apple products because they like how it looks, they like how sleek it is, they like how they feel like it's innovative. And I do think Apple is innovative. And they're also very on point with their branding and their marketing as well. So I'm not seeing Apple shut down just because if they have to give over schematics or they have to sell their parts. Like, they're already doing that to people. They already have, let's say, technicians and authorized repair personnel. The Apple, what's it called? The Apple certified stores. Those, right? Has that taken Apple down? No. If they're selling their parts to consumers, let's talk about this, right? Let's say they sell their part. Let's say they sell something to a consumer. They sell the part for $300. You're selling it the same price to their certified stores, right? Apple products have a markup. Now, what the markup is on the parts, I have no idea. But what I do know is, let's say someone says, hey, I'm going to fix my expensive iPhone. I want to do the repair like they show on Apple's website. Let's say this person accidentally rips something off. All right? What are they going to do? They're going to bring it to the Apple store. And then the Apple store will say, oh, yeah, we see you tried to do this repair yourself. Yeah, you actually damaged another part. What is that person going to say? What? I damaged my own phone? Oh my gosh, how much is it going to be to do the repair? And then the person will say, oh, yeah, you have this part and this part to replace. Oh, it's going to be really expensive. You might as well just buy another phone. I can see that happening. And then that person would say, I will never replace my own stuff again because I remember how I damaged my own iPhone. Therefore, I'm just going to bring it to a technician to fix, or I'm going to bring it to a Apple store and just buy another one and that kind of stuff. Like, it's not going to cripple Apple just to release this kind of stuff. Again, for people to fix this stuff, they have to buy the stuff first. So, yeah, if like, Apple's still making money. Yeah, so, but you say you don't want innovative products, right? You want functional products that suit your needs. A lot of people, when they're on the computer, they're just going on the internet, checking their email, checking YouTube. Maybe they have a Word document or an Excel file. You guys can tell I use Microsoft Word, can't you? They have things like that. And then they use it, and that's it. A lot of people, they're not doing sound recording on their Apple products. They're not doing video editing on there. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to have something more intensive, then by all means, you can get a desktop. You can get a clunky ass desktop for that. Or you can just get a bigger computer from a different brand. But yeah, Apple people use Apple products because they just like using it. I know how to use a Windows computer. Like, don't get me wrong. Okay? I just hate Windows now. I just really dislike using Windows. Every time I use Windows, I just feel like I'm going back to 2002, 2003, and I just kind of think to myself, something's really messed up when back in 2002, 2003, I had to do freaking antivirus removal for my own computer kind of thing, and it took me hours, and I hated it so much, you guys. Like, and this is a pain point that a lot of former PC users used to have, right? You'd be like, your computer's so slow. How come everything's so slow? Why is it laggy? Why do you have viruses? Oh, it just like flashbacks it. And I know people will say, well, Erica, computers aren't like that anymore. You can use Linux. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna install Linux. I have zero desire to spend hours figuring out Linux. Okay, I just want to buy a computer, turn it on, have it work, and just boot up on the get-go. Not, oh, hold up, I gotta troubleshoot. Hold up, I gotta go in a forum. And that's not my thing. No, I mean, look, if you want to talk about me being all loyal and things like that, right? My first choice for a laptop was not a MacBook. I actually ended up buying an HP first, and it was such a crappy experience. I think the computer was like 5-6 pounds. This was back around 2010, 2011. I can't remember when I bought that laptop, but I started having problems like 6 months in. I got so frustrated with it because the computer was just so slow. I kept wiping the computer every couple of months, and I was like, how come it is so painful for me to use this computer? Isn't HP supposed to be a good brand? And yeah, I spoke to people before about that computer, and they said, yeah, spec wise, it looks pretty good, Erica. You know, it looks like a good purchase. Nobody talked me out of that purchase, but I do remember people telling me, they said, oh, but you know, if you want to pay more money, you should think about getting a MacBook. And I did not listen to that advice. So I spent money on that HP only to get so frustrated with that HP that I thought, you know what, I'm so pissed off at this computer. I'm just going to buy a MacBook. Like, hell with it. And then I bought that computer, and minus me spilling water on my own computer, I never had any problems with it. I loved using my Clio. You know, you guys know, I think Clio kicked the bucket in 2020, but I used that computer for close to 9 years. No. You're going to troubleshoot Macs as well. I've been using a MacBook since 2011 or 2012, so I haven't really had to troubleshoot much anyway. And if I did, it was not nearly as deep as like a PC level. All I do is basically just turn on my computer, open Google Chrome. I don't really like using Safari or Firefox, OBS. Check things online. Make videos, and that's it. I'm not doing that much more. So I'm not like tearing down my computer or anything like that. So anyway, I'm gonna get going. I see my viewership. I see how many people are probably all pissed off about this stream or all agitated about this stream, because I know where my audience mostly comes from. Don't think I don't know. And I just kind of think that I hope that people aren't so pig-headed that they just fail to realize how strong Apple is going to be, and how I truly believe Apple will come across on the top side. They're not going to be losing this battle anytime soon. And right to repair and things like that, they're gonna be fine. Even if right to repair passes, like, don't delude yourself in thinking Apple's gonna go bankrupt 2 months later. Like, that's not gonna happen, because Microsoft and Google and all the other companies will have to follow suit as well. Nah, I know some people. They're just on the whole. Like, we hate Apple. Why do you hate Apple? I just hate Apple. Apple sucks. It's like, okay, well, can you do deeper thinking than that? Like, please, like, let me know. Like, I've heard people like diss Apple, and I just kind of wonder, like, okay, yeah, I know you don't like the company. Yeah, I know you don't use Apple products. Yes, I know you take so much pride not using Apple products, but can you at least recognize how much of a powerhouse Apple is, and how Apple is moving forward? They're really leading the way and such. I'm not seeing their competitors do anything on Apple's level. Like, it's cute that Google had that Google Pixel. It's cute, but it's just like, people don't talk about Google products going out nearly as much as Apple. Yeah, well, if it's like overpriced, people buy Apple products because they like using it. They like the aesthetics behind it. They like having the brand collaborations. You can say the same thing about any watch. Any designer watch. Why are people buying, let's say, Chanel watches? Why doesn't a woman just go to the 99-cent store and just buy a watch? Why doesn't she just go to TJ Maxx and buy a watch? Like, can't she just go and buy a $10 watch instead of spending $3,000 on a luxury watch, or $4,000? Yeah, she can. Why do people buy Rolexes instead of Casios? Because it's a different kind of level. Truly, like, when it comes to a watch, they just keep time. They're not breaking the internet or anything like that. They're not teleporting us. But people are willing to pay for luxury products. Same thing with cars, right? Luxury cars, luxury wallets, luxury accessories, luxury handbags, luxury eyeglasses, luxury belts, all that thing. So for Apple to position themselves as, which I believe to be an incredible position, as a leader in technology, plus incorporate luxury collaborations, it's really kind of like jaw-dropping to see how big they've become, because you guys know Dell will never ever do a collaboration with Hermes, right? I don't see Chanel being all like, oh, hold up, let's do a collaboration with Lenovo. Let's make a Lenovo Chanel collab. Like, no, that would just be weird as hell. It'd just be a bit like, what, Lenovo? Like that clunky ThinkPad thing? Really? Like, it wouldn't be a good fit. But the sleek aesthetics of Apple products, plus the visual aesthetics of luxury products, you can see how it goes hand in hand. And that's why, something like this cloth is their most back ordered product, because again, it evokes luxury. Okay. So here's all the iPhones, iPhone 13, this stuff, MacBook Pro, AirPods. See all these nice images? Wow, look at this. Time to walk with Prince. Oh, I forgot. Apple Fitness. Yeah. See? You can walk with the royal. How much more bougie can that be? Walk with the royal. I don't know. Maybe it's meditation or something like that. Apple TV. See all this stuff? So if you want to get Apple Fitness, you need to sign up for their subscription. It's $4.99 a month. That is reoccurring revenue. That's great. So this is huge. And let's talk about, let's see Lenovo really quick. Okay, here we go. Okay, come on, Lenovo. Let's see what you got. Okay, first of all, they start off with a doorbuster. Oh, look at this website. Oh, it looks like crap. Okay, let's go back to the aesthetics. When you go to apple.com, you see this. When you go to the Lenovo, actually, maybe, let's not even look at that. Let's look at Lenovo's main page. Maybe I'm doing them a disservice. Nope. Still crappy looking. It still looks like a sales page. Yeah, I'm not feeling hyped up about this. See the difference? Apple. Lenovo. Okay. So, you know what? Let me not be too mean. Let me go to Dell. Okay. Let's see. Kind of boring. This looks like the stuff that tech people get off to. It's just so boring. It's just like, where's the pretty colors? Where's the aesthetics over here? Look. See this one? You see how they made the iPhones look all pretty and nice? See? I'm gonna go back to Dell. Okay. Yeah, this looks not so bad. Oh, I see. It looks like they took some Apple inspiration over here. It's just me. Alienware. Oh yeah, I remember that. They're still around? Oh. Yeah, I'm not excited about this. Oh, let's look. I want to see the competition. Look, if you want to spend money on a computer, let's see how the marketing is on these websites. 12 days of saving, lowest price of the year. This could be $300. I still don't want it. Let's see here. Barrier breaking. Okay, it's great. You're sustainable.